What's going on, everyone? It's Corey and Jack here from the Breakevens, giving you another podcast today. Before I introduce Jack, I'd like to apologize for last week. Our audio absolutely crapped itself, so we didn't have a podcast last week for the first time in a while. So, apologize for that. But Jack, do you want to say hello to the lovely folk?
Hello.
So, round six. Um, what a round! What a round it was. A lot of injuries, a lot of yeah, actually,
Under
you know what?
underperforming players.
Just a lot of injuries, just a lot of shit. The good thing is though is I got 9 out of 9 tips right, so hey, you're gonna help me. Um, but yeah, absolute chaos. It's looking like a lot of people might not even be able to get full primo because of all these trades that are being forced upon us all. So um, we'll see how that pans out for everyone. Hopefully, you weren't too affected. Um, but hopefully next week's a better week. So before we get into everything, let's go through our socials. So don't forget, you can find us on Twitter at Breakevens Pod. Trying to hit 500 followers over there. We're getting pretty close. I think we're about 50 away. So make sure you give us a follow over there and on YouTube. On the road to 200 subscribers. I think we're about 80 odd away. So make sure you go over to YouTube and you search for Breakevens and you find us there and you click that subscribe button. All right, Jack, how'd you go?
So my week was saved today by one man. He carried my team on the back. I ended with a score of 2,102,
Respectable.
but I was looking like I wasn't even gonna score 2,000 until today. I mean, I guess a little last night as well. Someone helped out. But I've jumped rank in
Lovely.
such a horrible week by 4,681. I'm now crawling back down to 32,392.
Nice.
So I'm slowly getting there, which is good. Going into my team, legit, my whole defense let me down except for one man.
The Brownlow
And
medalist.
that is Nick Dacos. And I had the captain on him,
Oh, that's perfect.
which was it was a last resort because my week started as worse as possible. I look at that Gold Coast game like, please, Constable be emergency. He wasn't because I obviously said if Constable was emergency, I was going Bont into Dawson, and if he wasn't, I was going Dawson into Dacos,
Yep.
and he wasn't. So I kept it on Dawson, and Bont goes and scores 182. The
Nice.
gods have just ripped me a new one there, and then help that out. Dawson scored 78.
Yeah, but the good thing about that is everyone has Dawson now. So
Oh yeah, no, it's just vice captain could have been on Bond. I could have had 182, and then I'm now sweating on a Tuesday afternoon game to get a solid score for a captain.
yeah,
It's just how the luck went.
go.
But yeah, my whole defense was pretty crap. I had Zeeble in there, which saved it a little with Dacos, but McKenna 57, who's averaging 71. Liam Jones was on target for another 80, gave away 4 free kicks, ends on 53. And I decided to field Wilmot over Wagner, which was a 30 Supercoach difference there.
Yeah,
Um, my four big guns in the midfield went big in Bont with his 182, Laird 126, Jelly 139, and Taranto 144. But then LDU dropped a 72, another stinker. Setterfield went under his break even just with a 76, and Ashcroft got a 76, which isn't bad for Ashcroft.
yeah,
It's good money making, but again, obviously could have scored more because he's getting plenty of the ball. He's just wasting it, which is costing him a little. Then we get into my rucks with a Grundy 81, gone back, hurt. Marshall 88 was on like 80 at 3/4 time, then disappeared. Um, and then forward line, Goulden 47, Sheasel 53, which that forward role definitely hurt him with Aaron Hall back. And then I thought it was a very risky play, but I thought it's a good money making move to make and to jump on. And I got Cozzy Pickett, and he scored the 60 last week, which wasn't great. And he's gone, you know what? I'm going to do one better, and I'm going to kick a goal and get less super coach points than a goal gives you. And he scored 16.
Yes, yes, very poor.
Um, Trade wise, I'm in problem because I have Wilmot, Baker, Setterfield, Grundy, Pickett, who are all looked at needs to go.
Yeah,
But spoke about this a little bit just before. My plan is Wilmot to Seamus Mitchell, and then it
yep,
was Grundy to English and Pickett to Canelio. Now I had obviously brought Pickett in for money making purposes, so people would be there like, "Oh, you brought him in as that primo." I brought him in at 360K and he's at 372 because he just dropped 60K. He was always a money making option and he's lost that, so I've got to get rid of him. And Canelio is probably at the cheapest you can get him.
yeah,
I was hoping for Oliver this week, but with his break even being so high, I'm able to wait that week, fix up Wilmot, Pickett, and Grundy, and then fix Setterfield next week up to Oliver, which is pretty good.
yep, nice. And just to let everyone know that it's currently 8:45 on the Tuesday night. So Supercoach has basically just opened. So we haven't really had time to play around with it, haven't really had time to, I guess, soak in the disappointment. So, you know, we've had less time to think about it. Usually on a Tuesday night, we've had a day and a half
2 days,
to
yeah.
2 days to think about it all. So, awesome. Well, I'll go through my team first. So I scored 2,212, which means I jumped 5,202 ranks. So I'm back in the top 5K. I'm ranked at 4,506. So very happy with how that went. I'll quickly go through my side. So as Jack said, Dacos and Zeeble went well. Stewart went well. Um, Dawson 78 not great, and I missed out on 4 points in my backline because Wilmot scored a 39 and I had Charlie Constable who I could loop Cowan with. And at halftime, Cowan was on 32, and I was like, lovely. He's at least going to score 7 more points. And he dropped to 35. So I missed four points there, which is unfortunate. My midfield, I had Bond VC, so I took that 182. That was lovely. I actually changed it last second because I heard Clary was feeling a bit under the weather. So I was like, I want to change it to Bond. I did that last second and worked out for me this time, which was great. Laird and Dunkley scored well for me. 98 from Oliver. Um, I think he was robbed a little bit. I think he
Oh, he
deserved.
was definitely stiff.
I think he deserved at least 110 at a minimum. Hopper 94, which is okay because that's what we expect from Hopper.
He was a
And
bit stiff as well. He could have been a lot more.
yes, and the big one where I lost 40 points here. Um, I played Roberts on field over Baker. So Baker played first, scored the 59, and I was between do I use the loophole or do I take Baker's 59? Um, I decided to risk it with Roberts, and he scored 19, and he's out for a few weeks. So not great there. So already I've wasted 44 points just with loopholes. English and Marshall, English 131, and as Jack said, Marshall 88. In my forward line, Trento and Rosie 144, 126, perfect. Chandler 85, and obviously Sheasel and Gordon with the lower scores. I missed out on 33 points here. Um, as I was hoping that Davey wasn't playing because I was going to loop Fergus Green 77 on field. Um, and me stupidly had Davey on field. Teams weren't released till Monday night, which was annoying. So instead of having Green 77, I had to take Davies 44. So if you think about it, I have wasted 77 points this week because of my bench, which is frustrating. And even I had Samson Ryan, who scored more than Green on the bench as well. So there's even more points there. But looking for trades this week, I've had a quick play around, and what I'm looking to do is Baker and Wilmot both out. I'm looking to get in Seamus Mitchell and Will Day. And then I'm contemplating using my fourth boost and going Matt Roberts to Corey Wagner. Which means Setterfield will have to stay another week for me. McKenna will stay another week. And then Davey will stay another week. So basically, what I'm looking at is Sheasel, Chandler, Green, Ryan, Cowan, and McKenna are the ones who are going to stay in my side right now. The rookies that are, close to max cash for them. Keep them for another week. There's Chin Cotter, who's on the bubble next week. So see how he goes next week. And then that might be a Cowan down to Chin Cotter there. And then maybe a Sheasel up to someone or a Setterfield up to someone. But we'll see how everything pans out. Now, before we get into everything else, I will go through the break-even side, who scored 2,278, so top scored both of us. I don't know how many ranks they jumped, but their overall rank is 6,148, so about 1,500 spots less than what I am at the moment. Stuffed up big time. We could have scored a lot more. We had the VC on Dawson and didn't change the captain off of Clary, so we had Bond there, 108.82, which if we had the VC on him, we would have scored 2-4, and maybe probably even would have won the 1K, which is unfortunate. Sicily finally turned up for us. And apart from that, Taranto, Cogs, Zeeble, and Mitch Owens all turning up in our forward line was probably the big difference, especially Owens, 114. And to the guy who a couple weeks ago said Owens was a bad pick, and he's come out and he's now averaging 98 and up to 454K, you can go stuff yourself. Averaging 100, averaging 113 over the last 3 games, 102 over the last 5. So
He looks like a keeper, but as well.
possibly we'll see how things go, but good things from the break evens. And that's all that stuff out the way. So we will move on to our first segment, which is the V, C, and C options.
Sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Now, Jack, this is going to be a quick one because I have 10 names here.
Fantastic.
It's not a great round for captains, it seems. So we'll start off with our safer captaincy options. Number 1 is Clayton Oliver versus the Kangas. Averages 143 in his last 3, playing on the Saturday night. So depending on your team, it's a VC or a C option there. Rory Laird versus the Pies. In his last 3, 161 average. playing on the Sunday for a captain option. Yes, 161 in the last three. Actually,
Collingwood are just an easy target, eh?
100% me. I'll actually tell you his last three scores. Led right here against Collingwood. He has gone. Oh, hang on, it's frozen on me. Here we go. 154, 144, 185.
Jesus.
The other one is Bond versus the Hawks, 121 average. Play on this Saturday afternoon. So he's a VC there. As we know, Libba is out with concussion. So there's even more spots for him or Jack McRae this week, who could go well. Our Smokies start off with the Brownlow medalist Nick Dacos versus the Crows. His last game against the Crows last year, he scored 163. So, which is funny because I don't know if you've checked his prediction for this week on Supercoach, Jack, but his prediction is 166 points. Supercoach have gone. This
I
guy's
can't
going.
check it, but Jesus.
Yeah, Supercoach have gone. This guy's going big.
Love to see it. The only
um,
problem is this time last year the Crom were crap. This year they look like a huge contender.
yeah, but no one's going to tag, so Stakos will just
Oh,
keep
that
scoring.
is true. They've got the likes of Rankin and Rochelle that can keep up with him
Yeah,
if they go a man on man job.
they
Not necessarily a tag, but like a man on man job with one of them.
they can't even clean his shoes. That's how much better he is from them. But they're playing on the Sunday, so that's a captain option. Tommy Stewart versus the Bombers, 111 average. Playing on the Sunday as well. And Saki Merritt, who's back from suspension, versus the Cats, averages 114. And again, playing on that Sunday. So really, unless you have or while going a really risky VC just due to matchup, it's really Saturday or Sunday is what you're looking at. There's only a couple people. But I have brought back the third category of two good and one stinker. So the first one is Sammy Walsh versus the Eagles, Libba versus the Hawks, which again, he's
Well,
not
liver doesn't
playing.
work.
Yep, he's not playing. Petrarca versus the Roos, and Josh Kelly versus the Swans has had two good scores and one stinker there. So they are your VCC options for this week. As we'll move along to our next segment, which is buy, keep, sell, and avoid.
Help me! Help me!
Now, Jack, before you get us started, we have to write our notes up just before the podcast. I had a rough idea of who I wanted to put in, so it was a lot easier for me. But we've had a couple of hours to write this up, so we'll see who you've thought of, Jack. So we'll start off with your buy.
So I've gone a bit different this week with some of my options, and that starts with my buy. And it's Corey Wagner.
Yep.
Um, scored a good 64 this week, and had obviously I'm using the word projected because we're not sure, but he has a projected break even of negative 35.
I can tell
Which
you right now what it is actually. If you keep going.
which with the limited downgrades for the likes of Wilmot this week, it seems like a great option. So I went with him, even though we've got the likes of Larry Oliver, who's dropped in money, who you can pick up this week, and the Max Gorn as well. But I thought let's be a bit different. Let's go for a good rookie who's shown scoring potential and has a projected good break even. So that's why I've gone with Wagner.
Yep. So break even of negative 36, which means if he scores a 61, he'll go up 43k.
Yeah.
Lovely. So I've gone to someone who I'm going to bring in this week, and that is Will Day. So as we know, Will Day as he's coming back from a 2 game suspension. I think he was stiff to get 2 games. Probably deserved one at the most. He has a
It
break
was a
even of
1 week suspension, not two.
yeah. Um, he's got a break even of 15 and a projected of 108. So if he hits that, he goes up 42k. Just want to read out his last 3 scores since he's moved into the midfield. So round one, he didn't play midfield. He played more that halfback and then sort of ran through that midfield, scored a 60. But then he moved into that midfield in round two against Sydney, scored a 98, 139 against North, and 107 against Geelong. At 454k, I see him as a great value option. He's averaging 101 at the moment, and there's a bit of a cloud around our primos at the moment. You know, Sicily hasn't started that great. Sinclair not that great. You know, has started to bring it back a little bit. Maybe that has changed now that Steele is back. Um, but it's most people will have Dacos and one of Stewart or Dawson, or in my case, I've got all three of them. So and they're scoring well at the moment. Obviously, Dawson had the one bad game, but he's still averaging like 120 anyway. Um,
Yeah.
so the other defender primos aren't looking great. A lot of people are putting Zeeble and Sheasel and stuff in their defense just to try and fix that up, because it's our forward rookies that are doing pretty well. So I think with his role, Will Day can keep going at that 100, and that's probably top 6 to 8 this year, it seems. So at 454k, I'd definitely take that. And he's got DPP with defender mid, so I can always chuck him mid if something goes horribly wrong. And
I'd
that
like to
probably,
say I said it from pre-season that he was an option when everyone else said it's a joke, and then I listened to everyone else. But I'd like to say I've had one of the best pre-season calls in my life.
but will you have Will Day?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, no. All right, mate. Let's move on to your keep.
So again, it's an interesting one, and I've put Liam Jones. Again, I've put the projected, as his break even was projected to be 30.
Yep.
So with all the injuries and rookie fix-ups we need, we are able to definitely hold him for another week, especially that he showed that he had the capability to go 80 again. Obviously had 4 frees against, which hindered his score a lot. But he's showing good form, and with all the injuries we need to fix up, that getting as much cash in out of him instead of jumping off now is probably the smartest thing to do.
Yep. So he's got a break even of 28, Jack. Which
28. I was
yeah,
going off a bloke on Twitter that had the projected and
yeah,
specified that this is projected. So that's a 28 even better. If he goes 80 again this week, which he looked like he could have over this weekend, he's going to make even more money. So I'd just hold him. And if he has another stinker this week and his break even jumps up, then we'll be able to ship him. But he's still got cash to be made. So that's why I'm saying keep him.
yeah. And the only time he's gotten below that 28 was round one when he got injured on 5. So apart from that, his next lowest is 45. So he's projected to score 63. If he hits that, he goes up another 15k, which puts him over 300k. So he probably has another 2 weeks in him, unless he pumps out a big 100 this week. Then you can
Oh,
keep
it'd be
him.
beautiful.
If 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 he pumps out a ton this week, you could probably keep him to the bye rounds at round 11,
Yeah.
which is great. So, yep, I like that. my keep is Harry Sheasel. Obviously, scored that 53. First time going under 100. Um, Now, everyone's going to think it's because of Hall. It is not because of Aaron Hall. He
No,
copped
because
he
he
copped
copped a
his
tag, didn't he?
he copped his first tag from Holman. And so what Clarko did was be like, stuff this tag. I want to chuck him forward. So he played forward only because he got that tag. Now,
Yeah.
I just want to read out what he has scored prior to this week. 114, 114, 120, 111, 100. If you had Jacob Hopper, Will Setterfield, if they scored those um, scores consistently and then put out one bad score, would you hold it or would you trade straight away?
Oh, I mean, you'd hold it.
You hold it, right? Now, North play Melbourne, who it's a very good side, so the ball's got to be down in the defence. Do Melbourne tag? No, they don't tag.
No.
They're not going to tag. They're going to back in their system, their players to outscore North Melbourne, which usually isn't hard at all. Um, so what I am seeing is Sheasel will be back on that halfback, and he's going to accumulate the ball. He might lose some kick in, so it might hurt him a little bit, right? But if he still goes a 90, he's not going to lose that much cash. His break even is 99, and he's projected to get 100, which means he's going to go up $400, right? If he goes a
But yeah.
90, if he goes a 90, he loses like a K, and at 438K, right, he's going to lose a K, so it's going to be 437K, so you can keep him. He's a consistent scorer, has been. He's made 240K for us so far. I would keep him
Already.
already. And look, he's probably not going to go up too much more unless he pumps out a 150 this week, right? All our other rookies are started to shit the bed. So you keep the guy who's scoring the most. The way this whole thing works is when it's time to upgrade, which it's upgrade season right now, what you do is you try to trade out the rookies who are scoring the lowest, so you can keep the guys who are scoring the bigger scores, right? And you wait for them to become one of the low ones, and then you switch off you switch off them to upgrade. So Sheasel is a keep. Is 438K. He's only 100K off of getting. Actually, no, it's probably like 20K off of getting Cogs this week, isn't he? Or has Cogs gone up a whole bunch?
Cox is at like 489 or something like
Four,
that. Give
four,
me.
four, 499. So he's
Yeah.
61K off of getting Cogs, and this is a rookie. So keep Sheasel. See how he goes next week. If he scores under 80, I'd probably be looking to move him on because then he's really going to start to lose cash. But if he goes that 90 to 100, I'd probably keep him for a few more weeks. Let let your McKennas, your Cowans, if you're holding Baker, let them max out their cash and then get rid of them. That will be what I'm doing. All right, so that means we will move on to our sell. Who is your sell? Sorry, Jack.
So this was the one that I had thought it. As soon as it happened, I was like, I don't care. Anyone can do their ACL or whatever, and this man's going in. Funny enough, earlier that day we find out Took Miller's out, and I said, no, bad luck. Took Miller misses out, and it is the mosquito Cozzy Pickett. One, because he did me dirty, and two, his cash gen was already looking tough, and then he comes and he shows us that there is no God and scores a massive 16. Practically his cash gen, which a lot of people were looking for, which was like negative 35 a fortnight ago, is would now be in and above the hundreds, and it's just stay well away of him.
Yep.
Um, so that's the main reason, and the second half that made me push him is because I'm never touching him again, and I hope he gets suspended for 12 years.
Yeah, fair. He would have been an avoid for me in the early rounds, but I had to go through all the Freo defenders first. So
Yeah, well, just that negative 35. He looked like he had good cash gen and good scoring, and then the
yeah,
last 2 weeks he did nothing.
yeah, no, it's unfortunate. But what can you do? So my sell, I've put any of these rookies which will most benefit your team. Wilmot, Cowan, McKenna, Baker, Roberts, Davy Jr., Jones, or Philippou. Um, they are all potential sells this week. Jones and McKenna, I would say, the ones you should probably keep because they have a bit more cash gen. In my opinion, Baker will stay around the same, but the others will start to lose you money, and Roberts is injured. So um, I sort of cheated there, but the reason I did it is because it's
You say
up.
one name, people ask about the another name, and it's just like, well, I can only name one person.
Yeah, and it's upgrade season, so you start to have to unload your rookies, and I think those are the best ones to unload at the moment. If you still have Jinby, he could be one there as well. So don't forget about Big Ruben, but he's got good job security and is scoring at a decent rate. So I'd probably put others in front of him, which means we're up to our avoid.
Now, I can't lie, I struggled with this one. I had no idea who to pick, so I've just practically done what I did last week with a different name.
Okay.
And I've gone with Jack Crisp.
Okay.
He's got a huge 121 today for the Pies, but he's still Jack Crisp. He
Yes,
is the
he is.
Jack Crisp trap, as I've called him. He's averaging 85. He's only got midfield status. Even though I doubt many people would be getting him in, he is a hard, clear stay away. At all costs. He could go on a run for the next 3 weeks like Jack Crisp normally does. Has got a good month and a little bit, but then he's just going to go back down again. So this is not just for this week, but for the future as well, because he could easily go big again next week. But it's still going to stay the same with Jack Crisp.
Yeah. It's quite funny because going into the season, everyone's like, will Collingwood have anyone who can average 100? And we've got about four blokes averaging 100 right now. So,
Oh
um,
yeah,
but yeah, Chris.
one of them no one fought as well in still side bottom.
um, and well, I think Josh Dacos is high, like very high 90s as well. So,
Yeah,
I think no matter what, Chris isn't the player that we thought he would have been a couple of years ago. Still a very
yeah.
serviceable footballer and was still very consistent scores, but not
He's
that
turning into
100,
Brody Smith.
105 plus. Um, except he's better than Brody Smith. Come on.
Oh, yeah, no, but he's averaging the same as Brody Smith, which is
Yeah.
what I've been saying, and Brody Smith's averaged that for the last 10 years.
Well, my avoid, we spoke about it slightly before. and that is Aaron Hall. He's back. Yes, he only scored 63, so he's an avoid anyway. But someone out there is going to be tempted to get Aaron Hall because a couple seasons ago he was averaging 115. We know he can score points, but he's no Harry Cheezel. He is going to ping his hammy. Like he took 3 kick-ins, and I'm pretty sure they were all short because if he did the long kick, his hamstring was gone. If he kicks the ball over 30 meters, that hamstring is going. So stay clear of Aaron Hall. Do not get sucked in. He can score 250 next week, and I still won't even recognize his name. I won't even give it the time of day. Aaron
You'll
Hall.
recognize his name, you'll just ignore it.
Aaron Hall is an avoid. Do not get sucked in. That is all.
If the 63 isn't scary enough, which it should be, surely the fact that he's going to be out for in the next 2 weeks for a long time should be going into effect because I don't think he's going to last more than 3 games.
Yes, no. I'll give him a max of 5. I'll give him till then their bye. It's gotta go.
And if he's still in by then, you'll recognize his name.
If he's still in by then, and it'll be the 1 or 2 weeks after. It'll be just around the corner. But yeah, so that's gonna do us with buy, keep, sell, and avoid, which means Jack, it's time for your favorite segment of the podcast and your child. It is the A by the club.
Yes, and it's quite a strange week because I saw some scores and I'm like, nah, they didn't play that long. So I had to go through scores up in the 20s. And I'm like, these are people I know that played time. Then I go and look, the 3 lowest scores actually played the amount of time. So I wasted about 15 minutes. And getting in the round 6 vote with 1 vote from the Gold Coast Suns playing 45 minutes and 3 seconds. We have Matt Roses scoring 8 Supercoach points.
And that's Malcolm Roses.
Is it? I saw M Roses, so I put Matt.
Malcolm, yep. Good study.
Great start. He scored that low, I didn't even notice his name. And second,
he's Aaron Hall 2.0. He just don't recognize it. Sorry.
No clue who he is. And with 2 votes coming from the Adelaide Football Club in 32 minutes and 33 seconds, we have Ned McHenry with 7 Supercoach points.
And you got his name right.
I know him. He's been placed a few weeks before. Copy Xavier Dersma. And with 3 votes this week, it really hurts my heart to say this. It is killing me inside. But from the Richmond Football Club, with 27 minutes and 57 seconds, Hugo Ralsmith, 4 touches, 1 Supercoach point.
The reason I knew that was coming is because he's on my draft bench, and I saw before he had 1. I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
I was there like 1 Supercoach point. Surely he didn't make the minutes. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw one of his touches go out on the fall, and it was just like, okay.
But as you notice with that, 3 new players joining in the vote, so we are still yet to have someone double up. I would like to throw out what would you call it? An
Honor.
honourable mention
Yep.
to Nathan Kruger today, scoring 9 Supercoach points, just saving himself.
Yep.
Well done, mate. You spent
Played
about 80 minutes on the field, and that one extra Supercoach point saved you.
Oh. Jeez. All right. So, what is the leaderboard standings?
So the leaderboard has not changed.
Ooh. First,
So
first time. I'm pretty sure that it hasn't
yes,
changed.
first time it hasn't changed, and first time we did not have a team from Perth in voting.
Oh yeah! Wow.
So it's a big change this week.
Yeah.
Bit sad.
It doesn't feel like the Asian Bonner Club right now, does it?
No, not really. Especially when Matt Roberts so close, but so far. So the leaderboard is obviously in third place with 3 votes. Devon Robertson with a -1.
Yes, Dev.
Well done, mate. Keeping your spot. Love to see it. Second place, Nathan Kruger's man down in the forward line. Daniel McStay with a -2 and still 3 votes. And 1. I don't think it's going to be beaten.
It better not.
I don't think anyone's going to top it because I can't see anyone else polling another vote because it's changed. No one has yet.
Because they
So
keep getting dropped.
Still first with the 3 votes. Riley Garcia from the Western Bulldogs with the -6. My king.
Yeah, it's not being beat.
It's,
I can
well,
just lock it up.
we would have a chance if Aiden Bonner was getting regular game time, but apparently Aiden Core scoring 20s is better. I don't get it. Bring him back, Clarko. Bring him back. You were winning with him in.
Not wrong, actually. Yeah. So that's gonna wrap it up for today's podcast. Jack, do you have anything else you have to say before we sign off?
Hopefully we get a good week.
we've said that
We said it for 6 weeks.
6 weeks and it's just still not happened.
Hopefully we have a shit week.
Hey, there we go. All right, on that note, that's going to do us for tonight's podcast. Thank you for watching and listening on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or on any other platforms that you are listening to us from. Don't forget, you can hit us up on Twitter at Breakevens Pod. As I said at the start, trying to get 500 followers over there, so make sure you give us a follow. And on YouTube, the road to 200 subs, go over there, the Breakevens, you'll see our logo. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you again for watching and listening. And until next time, it's bye for now.
See ya.